Please welcome the moderator for this session, Mr. Jawad Abbassi, Head of MENA at GSMA, and His Excellency Bassam Sarhan, Chairman of the Board of Commissioners, CEO at Telecommunications Regulatory Commission, TRC.
Quick question. Anybody here who doesn't speak Arabic? Raise your hand. Raise hand. Okay, we have. Okay, then we'll switch to English because we have 7 or 8 people who do not speak Arabic. Your Excellency, welcome to the MENA ICT in the lowest spot on earth, the Dead Sea. And so I'll start with the very good news that the Jordanian telecom market, and actually indeed the regional telecom market, welcomed the good news of, I call it the grand settlement, the agreement that was between the government of Jordan and the 3 mobile operators in the country, settling multiple issues. I will start by asking you to give us an overview of that grand settlement and why do you think it's a good thing for, we believe it's a very good thing to the country, but I would like to hear also the government's perspective on that. Thank you.
First of all, allow me to thank you for having me on this panel and at the same time to extend my sincere appreciation for Intaj for putting out such a wonderful forum. It's going very well and we're exchanging a lot of knowledge and information amongst all the people present and the exhibitors. 5G. Before I go into the settlement agreement and the details regarding it, I'd like to explain something based on the presentation. Why 5G? What is the glory behind 5G that every conference I have attended, every event, you would see the highlights going with 5G and connectivity, unleashed connectivity, if you remember, and all that glory going around it. Well, if we're looking at technology will always evolve and advance as long as there are research and development, as long as there is manufacturers and industry going on. So speed, capacity, latency is a very important issue actually. But why is it happening now that we're hearing so much talk about 5G? We're talking about 5G and the research is in place for 6G, even higher speed, better performance and less latency. It is the ecosystem that is associated with the 5G. 5G is a turning point for the whole world. It's bringing so much impact on the economy in general, improving GDP in many sectors, and it is setting out a very strong platform for making the world a better place to interact, live, and receive services. Amongst my interaction in the past 2 days with the exhibitors, you would hear a lot of the people giving presentations in booths requiring artificial intelligence, requiring sort of cloud services. Excuse me. We've seen some virtual reality and augmented reality projects and presentations. All this needs an infrastructure. Now, this is a general speak. Let me go back to Jordan, which everybody is looking anxiously what happened. First of all, we have launched 3 main strategies in Jordan. A few months back in this exact place, His Majesty the King launched the economic modernized vision. We had digital transformation strategy launched, and we have the artificial intelligence strategy also launched. The 3 strategies and the vision that we have launched together all requires a strong infrastructure in ICT to be able to service all other sectors and provide the required parameters, the required tools, the required highway of information that will enable other sectors to benefit and progress and move forward. The pace is very fast forward in technology. You cannot delay the country from keeping up with what's happening around the world. As we speak now, there are about 60 to 70 countries that have launched the 5G. We are even, we sensed that we are delayed, but at the same time, I think my personal opinion is we are still in time. Amongst the Arab region and the MENA region in general, we have the GCC countries and Saudi Arabia who only launched the 5G services. We are now the first country after these countries to sign and agree on launching the services. So we are still in good time to do that. On the contrary, from the maturity of so many things that happened regarding networks, regarding systems, we will be benefiting from things that happened with early implementers of the 5G. The settlement agreement. You know, this settlement agreement constituted a very, very important pillar and a cornerstone for the relationship between the investor, the MNOs, and the government. It took so much time because there were so many details rooted back for over 20 years of certain issues, certain disagreements. I don't want to say dispute, but we have different point of views regarding some financial issues on both sides. To solve all of this, to start a new start, we had to work hard along with the three MNOs and accept their arguments. They also have to understand our position as government in order to reach this agreement. And this is exactly what happened. It took so much time because it's very complicated and it has huge data that four parties have to agree on. And when it is financial, everybody tries to be very careful to do that. So we were able to sort out all of these things, the 5G agreement and all what's related to it. If we had not had the disputes in the past, it would have done in one month time. So now this agreement, the benefits for this agreement is, first of all, let me say for the operators. They are investors. They have been operating in Jordan for so many years, some of them over 26, 27 years. It gives them, I would say, three major issues. First of all, certainty. Number two, stability. And number three, sustainability. All these elements are so important for investors and operators to be able to invest more and advance their network and their services.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Indeed, the settlement included technology neutrality and spectrum, and immediately took Jordan from a situation where there was spectrum available but not utilized by the operators to maximum utilization of the spectrum. So actually that's very indeed a very good result from the GSMA perspective also, and from the industry perspective. How much more time do we have? I can't see. How much, Rania? How much time do we have? 5 more minutes. Okay. So with 5 more minutes, maybe I'll open the floor for some questions from the audience. We have some operators, some vendors, and we have the TRC on the panel. So it's your chance to ask some questions. So think about your questions. Okay. We have a question from the gentleman. علي صوتك. بنسمعك. When is it expected to launch the 5G service? Commercially launch the 5G service? Yes.
Thank you for asking this question. Now, the agreement states that from the time the licenses are issued, they have 18 months to launch commercially. and there is, after the 18 months, there is a rollout plan that is agreed on with the operators to cover different areas. Now, I would assume that by the first half of 2024, we will have a commercial rollout of the 5G network amongst the three operators. This is the estimated time frame based on the current issues that we see. If the interruption of the global supply chain continues and other things associated with it, I hope we would not witness any hurdles in launching in time.
I have a question for my own, Your Excellency. What's the view of the TRC on infrastructure sharing by the mobile operators in the new 5G networks? Would you like them to do that? Would you encourage them? Or is it mandated, or is it just optional?
Jawad, thank you very much for asking this question. The role of TRC with the operators is evolving from the telecom law and the regulations and the duties on TRC. What we do is actually we set KPIs and coverage rollout plans. It is the operator's choice to choose the vendors, to choose the shape of the network, because this is related to their commercial capabilities, and we cannot impose something, and at a later stage they will come back to us and they say, okay, you forced us on doing this, we could not comply with the KPIs. This is their sole decision on the shape, the vendor selections, the cooperating with each other. We encourage actually sharing of a network if this can be done. Imagine we have assigned, excuse me, 300 megahertz for the three operators. If you put this in a shared network, the performance and the quality will be phenomenal. It's their choice. We only need to know their direction of implementing the 5G.
Thank you very much. I believe you have time for one or two short questions. Yes, the gentleman.
Thank you, Your Excellency. During the press for the agreement, we saw only two operators beside the TRC. Do you have still any dispute with the other third operator?
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, they have all signed. We have an agreement in place with all operators, and we have now granted the operators what's required. They have also complied with what's required from their side on putting the agreement in effect. The agreement with the three operators is in effect, and we are following the mandates and requirements of compliance from both sides, from the government side, from the operator side. The cause of the delay that made one operator 1 month delayed to sign is due to some internal issues related to them to come up with some documents that were needed to be included in the agreement. Once these documents were ready, signed and stamped, they came and we signed the agreement together. There was no other issues related to it.
And one final question, if we have any. I guess everybody's satisfied with the answers, Your Excellency. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for giving the opportunity. I hope we have satisfied you. Thank you.